Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace. Hello there everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today I want to cover burning herb bundles, how to craft them, what they're best used for, and all of the rest of the details. This video is a continuation on my series all about Spellwork and the companion to the book that I wrote. So if you're interested in following along with the book, you can find what we're talking about on page 112. For those of you that haven't heard about this series before, I am walking you through all about Spellwork. It's meant to go alongside my book. It is a sister way to learn with the book if you're someone who prefers to learn visually or just want another way of learning alongside what you may have read. And like I said, today we will be talking about burning herb bundles. These are a very classic, iconic style of spellwork in witchcraft. They're something that you may have seen very early on in your practice, or maybe something that you use regularly. They're super easy to make, and you can make them in very many different ways, and so having a base recipe like this to craft them and just understand a bit more about them, I think is a very useful thing to have in your back pocket. But before we get too deep into this video is sponsored, so let's hear a bit more about that. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Squarespace is a website building and hosting company, and as I'm currently working on putting up a website, it is very exciting to get to partner with them. With Fluid Engine, a next-generation website design system from Squarespace, it's never been easier for anyone to unlock creative design. You get to start with a best-in-class website template and customize every detail with reimagined drag-and-drop technology for desktop or mobile. You can stretch your imagination when it comes to online design with Fluid Engine, built in and ready to go on any new Squarespace site. One thing I really love about Squarespace is their flexible website template. You get to get started with one of their professional website templates with designs for every category and use case. Then customize your look, update the content, and add features to fit your unique needs. You can make any Squarespace template do what you want, so your idea, brand, or business stands out online on every device and can be as unique to you as you dream. Another thing that I really love about Squarespace is the ease of working an online store. Whether you sell physical, digital, or service products, Squarespace has the tools you need to start selling online. So if this sounds interesting to you, go to squarespace.com/thegreenwitch to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring, and let's get back to the video. Alrighty, welcome back. Let's delve into burning herb bundles. First and foremost, what is a burning herb bundle? A burning herb bundle is a bundle of tightly bound herbs that we burn or smolder to release energy into a space or onto your person. Often the herbs used in the crafting of bundles are woody or resinous in nature, though that's not a rule and you can work with most any herb that you desire. Hello, miss. Most often, you'll see herb bundles crafted for either purification or protection, sometimes even banishment, but they can be crafted for any purpose and intention that you desire. To work with them, you take the bundle, light the end of it with a candle or any source of flame. Make sure to blow out any bit of active flame just so that it's smoldering and smoking, and waft it around the area or your person or wherever you're trying to work with it. If you're working a home cleansing, take it around the entire home. If you want to cleanse yourself, waft it around yourself. If you are blessing a tool, waft it around the tool. It's all pretty straightforward. Take the smoke where you want the smoke to be, because as the smoke is released, so is the energy of the spell. Now, when it comes to crafting a burning herb bundle, it's just as straightforward as using one. You'll need some herbs, fresh or semi-dry. Dried will not work so well with this. It's best if the herbs are either attached to a twig or bigger leaves. They need to be fairly long. You shouldn't be using anything that is finely ground or very small. Those are fire hazards and do not very readily secure themselves into a bundle form. You also want to make sure that you're picking herbs that are safe to burn. Some herbs will be irritating or unpleasant if burned, and some can even be toxic or deadly. So it's important to do your research and choose herbs that are safe to burn. In addition to the herbs, you'll need a bit of natural fiber string. This will burn the cleanest and stay bound really well. You will also need some shears or scissors to help trim up the herbs after it's bound, and ultimately a candle or another source of flame. So to make the herb bundle, as I said, it's very straightforward. Simply gather your herbs together. If you're working with multiple herbs in the same bundle, and they may vary whether some are woody herbs and some are more herbaceous herbs, I find it's easiest to stack the more tender herbs on top of the woody herbs while tying them. But whatever feels right to you will work. It's not too much of a science here. Just make sure that your herbs are in a nice bundle shape. Then tie off the bottom with your natural fiber thread and then begin to wrap it around. I recently have started tying it off at every wraparound point, and this has been immensely helpful with keeping the herb bundle together as it burns, as the threads will burn and then lose their tension. So if you create these tension points all the way up the bundle, that's a really effective way of keeping it together and usable for longer. Another thing to keep in mind is that it's very important to tie them very, very tightly. As the herbs dry out, they will shrink quite a bit. So having a tight tie now is essential for keeping it together later. Once you're at the top of your bundle, tie it off very securely and trim up the thread. Then trim up the rest of the bundle. There's probably going to be quite a bit sticking out of the top. Make sure to trim that very evenly. And you want to make sure to trim all of the loose bits sticking out if you have any. These are a fire hazard, and you want everything to be very close together. This way it will smolder instead of burn and be much easier to use. Then at this point, it's time to set it aside to dry. Drying time will vary depending on where you live, the humidity levels, and the herbs that you're using. But a good rule of thumb is typically 4 weeks. Just keep an eye on it. It may need a little more time, or it might be ready before then. But it should be fully dry before use. Once it's dry, there you have it, a burning herb bundle. As I said earlier, when it's time to use it, when you wish to work with the spell, just set the end alight, blow out any active flame, and let it smolder. You're very welcome to relight it if you need to, and of course be careful because it is a flame, and make sure to not set it on anything flammable, and make sure it is fully burnt out before neglecting it. Keep an eye on it and make sure it's safe. Fire is not something to mess around with, and something like an herb bundle can relight fairly easily. But all in all, if you are careful with it and build it properly, it is a very wonderful way of working spellwork. It's one of my favorite ways to practice cleansings in my home. I use cedar bundles very often in my practice. I adore the way they smell, and I just enjoy the way that they work. They're beautiful, purifying bundles, and just a big core part of my practice. If you all have any specific herb bundles that you use, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And I hope you've enjoyed this video and got something out of it. I will be continuing this series every month more and more to follow along through this book and the different base recipes. And once I finally run through the recipes, I will be going through a very detailed process of actually casting spells, adapting them, and even writing your own. But if you want to go ahead of me, all of this information is in my book, The Green Witch's Guide to Herbal Magic. So far, you all really have been loving it. It's almost been out for 6 months, and it is incredible, the response I've received. So I am very grateful to all of you who have bought my book and have loved it. It has meant the world to me to be able to do this, and I am actually starting my second book here shortly. So it's all very exciting, but it will still be some time before that one is published. Alrighty, I suppose it is time to close out this video. If you can and would like to, I'd really appreciate it if you checked out my Patreon. There I share art, herbal profiles, book recommendations, and monthly workshops. I also do live streams, and there are just a ton of other fun things there. It's really what keeps things going over here. It finances all of this, so I am immensely grateful to all of you over there, and if you want to help support this channel, it would mean a lot if you checked it out. There are 3 different tiers and a lot of different things to enjoy in each of them. I also have another channel where I share more vloggy style videos of my day-to-day life, more magic, herbalism, all of those good things, and I'm working slowly on making that my primary channel. So if you want to stay a little more up to date on things, check it out over there. And again, I have my book. So if you're interested in any of these things, they will all be listed in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a lovely day, and I can't wait to see you again soon.